What was your, this person is on another level of stupid, moment? I locked my purse with my keys and cell phone in my apartment. I went to the office to ask maintenance to let me in. The woman at the desk said she would call maintenance and ask for the phone number they could reach me at. I said there wasn't one because my cell phone was locked in my apartment. She insisted she needed a number. I said I could give her the number, but that I wouldn't be able to answer it if they called. She suggested I get my phone out of my apartment so that I could answer when they called. I rolled my eyes at her and said if I could get in my apartment to get my cell phone, I wouldn't need maintenance to let me in. She never did understand me, but maintenance did show up 10 minutes later. Man, this story brings up a lot of vibes that you get from the Patrick's wallet kind of situation. I once worked in a Midwestern grocery store deli, and I was trying to explain to a woman that the name brand and generic brand of the macaroni salad that we carried were in fact identical. The woman yelled at me, saying that she could only have the generic brand because one is made with mayo and the other is made with mayonnaise, and I don't like mayo. When I tried to explain that mayo is an abbreviation of mayonnaise, she just said, "I'm from the South, I know my food," and tutted away. I should run a poll asking you guys, what do you guys like better, mayo or mayonnaise? Nah, but the real question is, what do you like better, mayonnaise or Miracle Whip? That one, you can hate me all you want, I think Miracle Whip is better. I got a concussion a while back. A friend of mine told me not to come close because it might be contagious. They weren't kidding. Hey, health-related things can be tricky to understand. Just imagine if there was some sort of health-related thing that affected everybody on Earth, and we all had to come to the same understanding about it. Just imagine how that would play out. Ex-flatmate canceled the gas and electricity contract because it was too expensive. Wondered why we had no more electricity or gas. She thought we paid 90 euros a month to get a hotline 24/7 in case of a problem. Yeah, maybe I guess you're paying 90 euros a month to be able to call someone 24/7, but it comes with free gas and electricity. I had to explain to a girl why you couldn't grow your hair down in front of your face and just cut out eye holes. Even explaining it to her, she couldn't grasp it and brushed me off as being too smart. I don't know, let's see if this works. So you would just have to cut right there and cut right there, and then this hair would just kind of hang there. Man, that's uncomfortable. I worked at a pet store in college. The customer asked me which food would make his pit bull swole. I suggested a high-protein food with a good amount of exercise, but advised that a lot of it was determined by the dog's genetics. He asked me if we sold genetics. Yeah, maybe you can buy genetics, because there's a lot of people that claim they're only fat because of the genetics, so if they just didn't buy so many genetics, then they would be skinny. Rescued a coworker on the side of the road with a flat tire. Waiting for the tow truck, I pointed out the nail at the top of their tire. They scoffed and looked at me like I was the stupidest person in the world, and exclaimed, "That's not true, because it's flat at the bottom." I just walked away and never brought it up again. Yeah, I guess it's kind of true though, you never see a flat tire that's only flat on the side. I was friends with the guy who believed those fake Apple adverts like, "Apple Wave, microwave your phone for instant battery charge." I was so dumbfounded that he actually fell for it. When I saw him the week after, and he had a new phone, it all clicked for me. I guess that microwave just charged his battery a little bit too hard. This was my first experience in retail where I learned that many customers would be like. Seasons were changing, so we put a lot of shirts we had to get rid of in the front and made them 50% off. I was working the register when a woman came up to buy her things. I rang her up and could see a look on her face like something was wrong. That's when the following happened. She says, "Why is this so much?" I say, "Pardon me?" She says, "This should only be $10, not $20. I thought maybe her item was on sale, so I asked if she could point out the sign because I wasn't aware of it. It was a small store and we didn't have to walk anywhere. She says, "This sign here." I say, "The sign says that all shirts are 50% off. She says, "Yes, so why is this full price?" I say, "This is a hat." Now, okay, if you can prove to me that you can wear a hat as a shirt, I'll give you 50% off. My wife's cousin and her husband / not baby daddy of her unborn child fell on self-induced hard times and needed a place to stay for a bit. We set up a queen-sized air mattress in the living room for them. For 3 weeks, I woke up to go to work, and every morning saw them sleeping on it sideways with their legs hanging off the edge. Then one day, she asked me to buy her a bigger air mattress because this one was hard on their backs. I told her to turn her body. The friggin' thing even has a built-in pillow on one end. Her response was that then they couldn't see the TV. Okay, then turn the air mattress to face the TV. That's the story of how I became the a-hole to the trailer trash side of the family. You know, my room would actually probably fit a little bit better if the bed was turned sideways, but then I wouldn't be able to face the TV from the bed, so I guess I have the same problem. At least I'm not sleeping on an air mattress and I know how to turn the bed around. I used to work with a girl who was sweet but so dumb. We were in a meeting once and somehow someone mentioned baked ham. My manager said, "Ugh, I hate ham. It looks like human flesh." The girl I mentioned was sitting next to me and looked horrified and whispered, "Does ham really come from people?" Well, I'm sure it's possible, maybe. I was once asked how it felt to come to the US as a refugee. I'm from Germany. She then looked rather surprised when I told her that Hitler had been dead for 75 years, and that Germany is one of the most liberal countries in the world these days. She full-on thought I fled Nazi Germany. Oh yeah, it turns out a lot can change over 3/4 of a century. I worked at a meat desk for a summer job, and a woman came in and asked if we had any meat without spices or sauces. She then proceeded to tell us that the doctor had said that her dogs got sick because she kept feeding them pizza, and they couldn't handle the spices. She then said, "Oh, but they love pizza so much, I feel bad for them. I'm probably still gonna feed them pizza." Yeah, dogs are gonna like any human food that you give them. It doesn't mean that it's good for them. Dated a guy. We watched Titanic. He thought the movie was stupid because the boat sank. It wasn't believable. You can't recover from that. Ever. I mean, to be fair, if you knew the actual details of how the Titanic was damaged and that it managed to sink from that sort of injury, I mean, the odds of that actually happening were pretty low. But what everyone really wants to say is that it's just unrealistic that they didn't both fit on the door. I work for Parks Canada and Yoho National Park. I have been asked the question, seriously, where do you keep the animals at night? Twice in my career. To this day, I still find great joy imagining what they thought was going on each night as we collected every large animal in the parks. I mean, all you gotta do is ring the dinner bell, and then all the deer and the moose and the bears, they'll just come right to you. I spent 7 years working for TSA. Had a pretty sweet detail where I would assist passengers who do not have ID, or assist TSA agents if they had questions about the validity of the given ID. I get a call on the radio asking for assistance in verifying an ID. I come over and ask what the issue is. The agent hands me the driver's license and says, "Can't accept this Canadian ID." Hearing this, I assume it's expired or the wrong name. I take a look and see that it's an Alaskan driver's license. I quickly approve the passenger and send them on their way. I spent 10 minutes explaining that A, Canadian driver's licenses are acceptable according to TSA regulations, and B, Alaska has never been a Canadian territory. This coworker has a master's degree in mathematics and served 25 years in the US Air Force. I don't know what it is about geography that so many people just seem to have issues with. I mean, go back and watch some of my later GeoGuessr streams. I'm like a master at that stuff now. I knew a girl in middle school that didn't understand the concept of perspective. She also thought north was whichever direction you were facing at the time. I mean, maybe if you're thinking of like a video game map or something that's always pointed north. I don't know, I can't really figure out how somebody could come to that conclusion. My boss asked me to file the spam mail. This man was one of those people that think they are the smartest person in the room. So, spam folder. Okay, weird, but okay. I couldn't find any spam mail that wasn't already in the spam folder. Afternoon comes and he stomps over to my desk area and wants to know why the spam isn't in the spam folder, as he throws a manila folder on my desk. The folder was labeled spam. He prints spam mail out and files it. And with any sign of skepticism on my face, he'd insist the IT guy told him that's where spam goes, so he got himself a folder and that was it. I had to get out. Man, this story is seriously bringing up flashbacks from just a few days ago when I had to try and explain to my grandma how to delete her spam emails. You would think that conversation should only take, I don't know, 2 or 3 seconds, but no, it takes about 5 to 10 minutes. This story is in good faith. I was asking my friend Jay when he learned about 9/11. He started telling me this specific story of how he walked outside and saw smoke everywhere, and how he asked his mom about it. He claimed that she said planes hit the towers. I stared at him, just silently, in the story. We live in the Midwest. There was no way he saw the debris from the towers. Also, we were born in 2003. I don't know, maybe somebody was trying to reenact 9/11? Back when the Fukushima nuclear power plant disaster happened, we were discussing how the reactor had failed in a science class. 5 minutes into the conversation, a girl piped up and said, "I don't see what the big deal is. Why can't we just regrow it?" She seriously thought a nuclear power plant was a plant. Interesting. So maybe she's actually a whole step above everybody else. Maybe she's thinking of using nuclear power to grow plants. And then maybe those plants can be glowing when they come out and we can use that to harness more energy. The time a friend told me how much he hates potatoes while eating French fries, and I literally blew his mind by telling him French fries are potatoes. You know, potatoes are one of the most versatile foods of all time, I think, because, I mean, I seriously can't even decide what's better between mashed potatoes, French fries, tater tots, or hash browns. Not me, but a friend worked in a call center for a CC company in the disputes department. The number one item people called in to say they never purchased, interest charge. Come on, you don't want to add interest on top of your payments? That's the best part. Someone in my history class argued that Mussolini was a type of pasta. Well, I'll tell you what, next time I'm at Olive Garden, I'll ask for the Mussolini Alfredo and see what they do. An old coworker was telling me that there's people out there that think Alaska is an island. I laughed in disbelief, but another coworker overheard and was flabbergasted. What? It's not? But it's always drawn off to the side with Hawaii. Point made. Another time, a guy with a really thick accent walked in. Same girl was like, "Oh wow, I like your accent. Where are you from?" The guy says, "Have a guess." Her response, "Have a guess? I've never heard of that place before," and walked away. She is super sweet, just slightly oblivious. You know, let's just put the stories together. Have a guess is just an accent from the island of Alaska. Man, it's so weird to think that there's people that are just living in completely different realities. So me, when I was a kid, I had a real old transistor radio. I asked my parents for a newer radio, so I could receive and listen to newer music. Well, I mean, it makes sense. You don't want any of these shiny new songs coming through on those old, dusty radio waves. I had someone ask me, "Is Europe on Earth?" See, there they go again with the geography. You know, maybe everyone should be forced to just stare at a globe for like 2 hours at some point in their life, just so they could understand how the world looks. My sister asked if the Eiffel Tower was in Paris or France, and couldn't understand how it could be in both. Yes, actually there are 2 Eiffel Towers, one that's in Paris and one that's in France. You'll never see them in the same room together, but trust me, there are 2 of them. A friend didn't have coins for a vending machine, but did have a dollar. She folded up the dollar and forced it into the coin slot, and then did not understand why she did not get her item. There must have just been something wrong with the machine. Just try again, it might work next time. But anyways, that's half the stories of the stupid things people say, and I just realized that the next video will be more of this same topic. So keep an eye out for part 2, that is all for today.